Good morning, everyone. Karen from Mama's Little Lambs. This morning, I'm going to be sharing with you something very dear to my heart, and I will be back to let you know what it is. Welcome back, everyone. Today, I'm going to share with you a Valentine's unit study. And I am in a collaboration with Natasha over at Educational Roots. And we are going to talk about Valentine's Day and the things that we will be doing and the study we will be doing for Valentine's and just some really great things. So make sure you stop by Natasha's channel, check her out. She's fabulous. I always say it, but she's awesome and always has so much great information, educational, curriculum, material, unit studies to share. So definitely stop by, give her a big thumbs up, hit that subscription button and that notification bell so you don't miss any of her videos. So I'm going to get started this morning. I have two age groups that I'm going to be sharing with you. I have my son. He is a preschooler, kind of like preschool kindergarten. He's kind of like in between. So I'm going to share with you the things that I'm going to use for our unit study and some read aloud books that we're going to use. And then I will get into my daughters, what we'll be doing for her. Some things I'll do together, some things we'll do as a family. So I hope you enjoy this. So let me get started. Some of the first things I want to share with you is we always have our ABC, God's Ways for Me. There are scriptures to help me walk in God's truth, and they're for children, and it's got a verse for every letter in the alphabet. So you can flip through these, and everyone has a scripture. So I like to go through these. Whatever letter we're working on, I absolutely have them remember. What does C mean? Cast your cares on the Lord. And that gives you the scripture, Psalms 55:22. But for this month, I think we're going to focus on this scripture. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Exodus 20, verse 7, because it's V for Valentine. So I thought we're going to focus on this. Of course, we can read other ones, but this is going to be our focus to try to remember this scripture and to talk about what it means and what the Lord expects of us. So children love to hear about Jesus, and this is the perfect time, and I always want it part of our school. It's what guides me and leads me. So that's one thing that we'll be doing. Another thing that we're going to do is I have winter task cards, and these are for STEM work. And I did go ahead and pick out the Valentine ones. There's Cupid's arrow. Let's go ahead and just take a quick peek at these. Cupid's arrow, a balloon, and what he does is he tries to create these with his plus plus blocks. So those look like that. So we picked out the ones for Valentine's. I switch them out for every holiday. So those are fun. And he likes doing those. And we'll do these a lot of times during Read Aloud. So he has those that we're going to do. We also, for science, we're going to use our science projects, activities in a jar. And I got this at Target. So for our science, we will be using this. And they have some really fun things. I kind of looking forward to doing some things with red and pink and just different fun things. And we will be doing some baking and making cookies. And I have some X's and O's and heart-shaped cookie cutters, and then we will decorate them. So that would be a nice, fun family project. The next thing I have that we'll be using this month also is Mindful Kids. It's 50 mindfulness activities for kindness, focus, and calm. So it's really fun. These are great cards. I don't know if you've seen them before. I absolutely love them. But it just gives you different things, how to use the mindless cards. It tells you on here, it gives you the examples. You know, what is mindfulness? How do I become mindful? And it just goes through and explains all of them. And the pictures are really fun because they got nice bright pictures, and they got little kids on them. So it's mindful breathing. Wake up your mind and body. And it tells you how to do that. It goes through, you know, what you need to do. It takes you through all the different steps. So those are some cards that we'll be using this month. I like those really well. My son can be a little hyper. He's kind of borderline ADHD. And so I try to do things to calm him and settle him and keep him occupied. So that's one of the things that I do use. Another one that we have is this is a 10 frame, and they're little mittens, and they go through, and they have to find and match up each set. So he will go through, and in my classroom, we will go through and we will match these up with the numbers and the 10 frames. I also have some 10 frames with wooden that are made, they're wooden, and we will put hearts in there, or I have little mittens and they will fill the 10 frame boards. So that's one of the math ones that we'll do. Another math one that I have are penguins, and they each have a number on them. So they have the numeral number, and then they'll have to match them up. I like coordinating all my stuff, so I have little penguins here, and what they'll do is they'll match the one penguin with the little penguin, and they'll do those all the way up to number 12, and we are working our way up to 20. So that's a math one that we'll do. I also have these heart ones that have numbers on them, and then I have these little cards that are really cute, and they just go through be mine, miss you, hug me, my pal, and it's got different sayings, and they have to lay the card down, and if there's 3, then they would lay the 3 down, and they would lay 3 cards underneath it, so that all of them, each whatever the number is, they coincide quality with quantity. So that's another math that we will be focusing on. This is just, and I do them for all month. I get different patterns and stuff. So this is a heart. It starts with 0, which is an empty set, but it's still a number. And then we'll do the same thing. I do have some little pink hearts here that they can, if I can get the top off of this, there we go. They're little pink hearts, and they little scatters, and they can use these for counters, and they can put however many the number is, so the numeral number, and we'll match it with quantity again. Another one I do have is, these are different numbers. So of course 0, we know that's an empty set, but it's still a number. And then there's just hearts on these pages, and they will either match those up with the pink hearts again. We do have clips, and I'll show you those to you in just a few moments. They can clip the number of whatever one matches that. So just always reinforcing math and working with different things with math and manipulatives for that. This one, they actually have to look at the card. We have to look at the number, the numeral number, and then the number itself, 1, written form, and then look to see which one has the quantity of 1. So this has to do with critical thinking. So I like these, and it has all different ones in here. So they're not in any particular order. They just go all, I think this one goes up to 10, yes. So they have to look and really do critical thinking and decide which one goes with that one. So that way we have that one to do. And then these right here, of course, in Montessori, everything starts at 0, and it's an empty set because we don't want to leave out a number. And because 0 is a number, we want to include it. So we have all different, this is another 10 frame. So what you would do is you would line 10 hearts or 0 hearts for this one, and just go through and use your, like on this one right here, there's 3, so they would look for the number 3 and match it with on the 10 frame for the quantity. So that's another one for math that we do, and they're just a lot of fun. I like kind of doing things, different ones for the holidays, so that's one that I do. This one also, this one is a number one. It has all the way up to 12. And then it has just little tiny buttons that are hearts. So it's kind of fun for Valentine's to use those. Another game that I have is we're kind of working on trying to remember our shapes and colors. And we're doing our colors in Spanish and English and sign language. So If it is a circle, they want to match it with the circle. And I'll say, what color is this? Green, a verde, and we'll go through. And they have all the different shapes, and all the wooden shapes are in here. So we definitely are working on those, making sure that we have those down good, and making sure we're not forgetting any. And that's just another good one. Here's some cute ones. I made up some of these because I kind of looked at things and I thought I could make those. So I found some X's and O's and I put numbers on those. And what I do with these a lot of times is I'll use pom-poms. And we'll put one pom-pom. You can line them up this way or you can line them up below, however you want. But that's just another one and just a different design that we can do. We also, like I said, we talked about color. These are hearts with smaller hearts, and inside each one has a different color of heart. I also have these cards that we use with this. So on this green one, what we would do is find the green, things that are green, and then the green, or we can look for the word to start sounding out our words and getting our beginning sounds. So it's really good. These cards are really nice, and you just match it. You find the green heart, and they have to match everything. So it's just reinforcing colors again. Like I said, we talk about the objects that are on there, what the objects start with, the beginning sounds, and then colors in English and Spanish. This one is fun because they have a number on there, and they have to figure out. They start learning t, I, n, and they sound out that, so they know that's a 10, and p, in. And so we're sounding out, and we're doing the CVC words. So this is for language arts. That's another good one for them to work on. So I do like those because they're getting familiar with the CVC words. Another one that I do have are like ginger cookies, and that has a bunch of different pictures in here also. So igloo. So just some fun winter ones for them to do. And they can either clip the card with some decorative clothespins, or they can use the letters that I have in here that would match those and put that letter on there. Either way they want to do it is their choice. Here is the clip cards that I'm talking about, the little clips. I don't know if you can see these in here, but they're just all like little Valentine. They got hearts on them, and this one here is a different design, other little small hearts. And what I do with these is I take these cards that are number cards, or like I said, you can use them with the letters, and I'll ask them to count the quantity and match the number. So they would count these out, 1, 2, 3, and then they would go ahead and take the clip and clip the 3. And this also helps develop their pencil grip and building their muscles in their hand, which are so important. So those are always fun. They like doing those. They like the clip cards. Sometimes I like using manipulatives. We have all kinds of different things, which are lots of fun to do. So those go in there. The next one I have is spelling out. So these are all in a mitten. They're different animals that are in a mitten. So they got pig, and they got lips, and they got fox, and they got a puppy, or dog. I guess it would be dog, because they're going to be CVC words. And van and jam. And what they're going to do with these are spell out the word pig. So we're going to sound out each letter, p-ig. And that's how they get their CVCs. We just got done learning all the phonetic sounds, and we learned the vowels, so they're really doing good at this. So I wanted to get them something winter, so I printed these off, and I laminate everything just because it lasts longer. So that's a language arts. Then I also have it's just a 10 that I got. I think I got this at Target. And these have, all of these have a different oops, I have them kind of flipped over backwards here, but they each have a different lowercase, and they have to match these and put these on there. So reinforcing the alphabet, and then we talk about the sound. So the phonetic sound, the actual letter itself. This is a lowercase. We're also working on uppercase. So once we go through these, I'll switch them out for the uppercase. And we do have the sand letters that we do that also. So that's something else. Another fun thing that I have, oh, I forgot this one. This is one of the vowels. And it's got several different words in here, and then it's got all the vowels. So A, E, I, O, U, they're all written on there. And what they do is find the letter that has the vowel. So hip, ip. They would know that that was an I. So they have to find the vowel in the word and match it with the heart. And then what I do a lot of times, everything that has an I in it, will line it up in a row below this. So that's another great one for language arts, and they really like them. So all of the ones that we do, they seem to enjoy quite well. I do have a sensory bin. I got this little tub. They're really nice tubs at the Dollar Tree. And they have like a little latch up there so you can hook it up. But on this one, for my son, I put in some pom-poms. And of course, we had to have some dragons and some knights thrown in there. Some snowflakes. He likes these little wooden scoops because I have some silicone little hearts in there. And he'll scoop these out and he'll put them back in. And he does all kinds of things. He'll line them up. He'll make patterns. There's some snowflakes in here too. Of course, I put in some, I think like 4 different blue stars. Or blue hearts, I'm sorry, because he likes to have colors that boys like too. He told me red and blue. So we went ahead and did that. We got some blue. We got X's and O's. We got hearts. So something fun for him to do. He does like the sensory bends. So that was a fun thing to make up and be creative. And Valentine all in red and colors, and I like the blue added in myself. Some other things that I got that we are going to do are, and me and my daughter and I and my husband and my son will all, we'll play this with him, but it's Valentine bingo. So it's got all the different, let me just unclip this so I can show you. These are fun. I laminated these also, but it has all the different things. So you give them a stack and then you give them each a card, and they have to see who can get bingo first, and they win little prizes. So this is always fun to do also. I like those. So like I said, my daughter will join in when we do that. I do have some different ones. This one has like H on it. H is for heart, and we'll use a little dot paints for those. So they'll do that. And there's several different ones in here in this package. Whoops, if I can get them out. They have, well, I'm not going to pull them out because it'll be a mess, but I have bears, and I have hearts, and I have teddy bears, and I have a maze, and you can just dot them all out. So this one is for dotting. This one is find and mark each uppercase H. So they go ahead and they can either stamp it. I got some Valentine stamps, which I thought they could stamp on whichever one has the uppercase. And then this one says count the number of hearts in each row, then fill in as many circles as there are hearts. For example, if you count 3 hearts in a row, fill in 3 circles. So I thought they could do the stamps too with that, or they can color it in, whatever their choice is. This one is select the picture that comes next in the pattern. So they'll be doing patterns and sequences. And then this one is really fun. It says follow the arrow to get the blue bird to the pink bird. Be sure to collect all 9 hearts as you go. So this is fun to do. So that is for my son. And then I'm going to share with you some, one other thing. I always share these. These are the blank books from Target. And we go ahead, like I said, we stamp in there. We got stamps. I got other stamps that they peel off and put in there. We draw pictures, talk about things we've seen out in nature. So these books we fill up. We usually do one every month. So this one we will do for February. I have some books. I'm going to just go through these kind of quickly. The Story of Valentine's, The Night Before Valentine's, Valentine Cats, Clifford's Valentine Day, The Bernstein Bears Love Thy Neighbor, another Bernstein Bears, Valentine Party, The Valentine Mice, Pete the Cat, Froggy's First Kiss, Charlie Brown's Valentine, Biscuits Valentine's Day. Curious George, Happy Valentine's Day. The Mouse's First Valentine. The Valentine Bears. This one is pretty. I like this book. It's really fun. It's the very special Valentine. Very nice book. And then Franklin's Valentine cards. If you open this, you can make cards and give them to your friends, and they pop right out. They're kind of perforated, so it's just fun. They got a bunch of different cards in there. So this was really cute. Then I do have some poems that, well, first let me share this with you. We'll be doing this for a read aloud. Cupid Doesn't Flip Hamburgs. It just looked like a fun book. It would be silly, and I really look forward to reading that with them. Some more books that I have are poem books. This one, the Three Bears Holiday Rhyme Book, is, I love this. I got this at the Goodwill. And this book, it has every holiday you can think of in it. And so there's a poem in there for Valentine's Day, and you see the little bear dropping his Valentine in the mailbox. So I'm going to be reading this, and we'll be focusing on this for this month. I also have Julie Andrews' Treasures for All Seasons. I do have, where'd it go? Oops, I'm sorry. Kind of skipped through it. A Valentine. So it's a really pretty picture, and it's got a nice poem in there. So I'll be sharing that one. And then one last thing I have is, this is 101 must-have finger play songs for children. And I got this when I was going to school. And it says, my Valentine, 10 little Valentines. I'm a little Valentine, little heart, and here's a little Valentine. And there's movement to them, and it's dancing and singing. So it just gets us up and gets us going. So this is a lot of fun to do for Valentine's. So I do believe, oh, and one other thing that we use is Get Fit Kit, and this was from Target, and there's 32 fitness cards, so we like to stretch and move. And then we also have a music teacher that comes twice a month, so he gets us moving up and singing and dancing and playing different instruments, so we have a great time. It's a lot of fun with our music teacher. Now for my daughter, we're going to move on to her. The first thing I'm going to share with you is Celebrating Holiday Valentine's Day. It talks about Valentine's, those cookies on the front, if you can see them, look absolutely amazing. We're going to do some baking. We're going to talk about what different people do to celebrate. So this is a really nice book, and it's nice and colorful inside. It gives you different things about Valentine's Day. It talks about Valentine Day beginnings, Valentine marrying a couple, and just all kinds of neat information in here. So that's one that I will use with her. The next one is Celebrating Valentine's, and this is a holiday around the world. It's a National Geographic, and it just talks about different people, how they celebrate Valentine's, and just throughout the ages. And it says, we welcome springtime, and just all the different things they do. Very pretty pictures in here. This is another book we'll use. We will be doing, of course, the Dear Valentine letters. So we will do the Mad Libs for that, which is great because we love going through and, you know, nouns and verbs and pronouns and adjectives and linking verbs and just parts of speech and just different things that we do, and just making and being silly doing these. So this is really fun too. So I enjoy that. The next book is called A Short History of Valentine's Day. Beautiful book. Beautiful pictures too. So inside is really pretty, and it just talks about how the day was and when it was and who chose the day and how it all got started. So great book. Another book, which I got two of because I wasn't certain which one I wanted, so I got two different ones. It's the story of Saint Valentine, More Than Cards and Candy, Hearts. And so this is the first one that I got. Let me just kind of give you a peek at the inside of this one. It's got some really pretty pictures. It's got some dates. It's got different countries, what they did, how it all happened. So it's I really like this book. It's new. I have not read this one yet, so I'm excited to read that one. And then I also got Saint Valentine. And I'm excited to read this one and have my daughter. She'll actually read these to me, and we'll talk about it. And of course, we're going to do a report on St. Valentine. She can pick which book, and we'll do some copy work, and we will do a report on one of the books, her choice. Then we have the Valentine Day activity book, And this has all kinds. It's got crossword. It has coloring. So this one goes up to 100. So she'll probably do this and then color this. And a lot of times she uses she's got some really pretty colored pencils and pastels. There's different things. My son can do some. She can do the word search. He in the maze. She can help him. And they'll work together on this. I'm finding like 7 difference, and we can look at these and see what is different about this picture. So this looked like it would be a lot of fun to do. So it's just a fun activity book. Then I have some units that I made up. Well, I didn't make them up. I'm sorry. I had them made up and I printed them off. And this talks about love is. And this reminds me of in the Bible, 1 Corinthians 13. And it talks about love is, what love is not. It goes through, it talks about Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8, gives you the scripture. It talks about fill in the blanks. Love is not, and does not. And then over here it says love is. It says now we're going to work on learning more about what love is. Look at your love is column and rewrite your answers in the first column. And in the second column, write an example of it. In the third column, write the opposite of an antonym and the word. And the fourth column, an example of it. So I'll do that. And then this is the same thing. We'll go through this. We'll write the same thing on this, and then love is, and then she'll write that out. So I really like that. And I just had them put a frost cover and coil it and then put it back on it. So I had this one made up. And then tune thy music to thy heart. This I'm really excited about doing. It's a poem unit study for Valentine's Day, and it talks about English, and it talks about about the author and a poem in this book, a note about handwriting, reason and spelling instructions, writing and craft instructions. It's got a brief history about English spelling. It gives you the actual poem. It talks about words spelled differently in the poem and today's spelling, words not used today, and spell words your way. So it goes through several different things, and it just talks to you, and then it has the answer key in the back. So I just thought this would be another good study for her to do. The next one I have is Read with a Purpose, Valentine's Day. And in this one, let me just try to show you the inside of this. It talks about Valentine's Day, when it was. It talks about words to watch for. It also has questions, multiple choice, true and false. And this one, it has guide reading and vocabulary words. It has reading comprehension and more. In the back, it has a summary. And then it tells you Saint Valentine. And it just goes through and gives you the story. And once again, in the back, it has the answer key. So this is another one. And then the last one that she has is the history of Valentine's Day. And this is for 7th to 10th grade. All of this stuff that I chose is for a middle school to high school. I apologize, just so you know that. Because sometimes I see a lot of videos, but I don't really see a lot of things aimed towards middle school or high school. So this is grades 7 through 10th. This goes through and it talks about Valentine's Day, the history of Valentine's Day, paganism and Christianity, 2 biblical stories about Saint Valentine. It goes through Valentine, was it real? Valentine's Day. And then it talks about, literacy, literature. It talks about symbols. It talks about Valentine today. And then it just goes through and it gives you scripture and lists all the things. So the answers are back here. Where can I find that information? Where did they find it? So this is just kind of like a research unit on the history of Valentine's Day. So those are the things that I picked, like I said, for my little one and for my 8th grader, because I just really think it's important to offer both if you can. And because I do have a pre-K/kindergarten and an 8th grader getting ready to go into 9th grade, I wanted to be able to provide both for you. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give me a big thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscription button and the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I make a new video. And may you have a rich, blessed, happy day and an awesome weekend. Bye-bye now.